A wealthy man, celebrated for his business empire and extravagant lifestyle, was known for his sharp mind and relentless drive. But behind his success lay a void he could never quite fill, a family he had never known. David Hayes grew up as an orphan himself, never knowing his parents or their reasons for abandoning him. Determined to rise above his circumstances, he built a life of luxury and power. Yet deep inside, he longed for a family connection that money could never buy. One fateful evening, while reviewing documents at his office, David received an unexpected call. It was from a private investigator he had hired long ago during one of his low moments of loneliness. For years, the investigator's search for David's family had turned up nothing significant until now. "Mr. Hayes," the investigator began, "I've found someone. It's your daughter." David froze. "My daughter?" he repeated, struggling to process the words. The investigator explained that years ago, during a brief relationship in his younger days, David had unknowingly fathered a child. The mother, unable to care for her, had placed the baby in an orphanage and disappeared. David, unaware of the pregnancy, had carried on with his life, oblivious to the existence of his daughter. The revelation hit him like a tidal wave. A daughter, a part of him, had been living all these years without him. Guilt and curiosity mingled in his heart. "Where is she now?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The investigator hesitated. "She's still at the orphanage. She's 13 years old." David couldn't believe what he was hearing. His child had spent her entire life in an orphanage, waiting for a family while he had been living in luxury. The thought was unbearable. He immediately arranged a visit, disguising his identity to avoid causing a stir. The next day, David arrived at the orphanage, a modest building filled with the laughter of children who knew little of the world beyond its walls. He introduced himself as a potential donor, and the staff eagerly gave him a tour. As he walked through the halls, his eyes searched for her, the daughter he had never met, but already felt an unexplainable connection to. Finally, he saw her. A slender girl with bright eyes and a curious smile sat at a small desk, reading a worn-out book. Her name was Emma, and as David observed her from a distance, his heart ached. She was so young, yet her eyes carried a wisdom that spoke of challenges faced too early. During a group activity, David mustered the courage to speak to her. "Hello, Emma," he said softly, kneeling to her level. "I'm David. It's nice to meet you." Emma looked at him with polite curiosity. "Hi," she replied, her voice shy but kind. As they talked, David marveled at her intelligence and resilience. She told him about her favorite books, her dreams of becoming a doctor, and her hope of finding a family someday. Each word pierced his heart. He realized how much he had missed and how much he wanted to be part of her life. After leaving the orphanage, David couldn't sleep. He replayed their conversation in his mind, grappling with how to tell her the truth. Could he just walk into her life and claim to be her father? Would she even want him after all these years? The next day, David returned, this time with a more personal mission. He sat down with the orphanage director and revealed his identity, explaining his desire to take Emma home. The director was stunned, but agreed to facilitate the process. When David finally sat down with Emma to share the truth, he was nervous. "Emma, I need to tell you something important," he began. "I've recently learned that I'm your father." Emma's eyes widened in shock. For a moment, she was silent, processing the revelation. "You're my dad?" she asked, her voice trembling. David nodded, his own eyes brimming with tears. "I didn't know about you until recently. If I had, I would have been here sooner. I'm so sorry for all the years we've lost, but I want to make it right. I want to be part of your life, if you'll let me." Emma stared at him, her emotions a mix of disbelief, hope, and apprehension. "You mean I can leave the orphanage?" "Yes," David said, his voice steady with determination. "You'll never have to spend another day here. I'll give you a home, a family, and anything you need to achieve your dreams." Tears streamed down Emma's face as she nodded. "I've always wanted a family," she whispered. From that moment, their lives changed forever. David adopted Emma and brought her home, vowing to make up for the lost time. He poured his energy into being the father she deserved, learning to balance his work with their growing bond. At first, Emma struggled to adjust to her new life. The luxury of David's home was overwhelming, and she often felt out of place. But David's patience and love slowly helped her feel secure. He encouraged her to pursue her interests, enrolling her in the best schools and supporting her dream of becoming a doctor. Emma, in turn, brought a newfound sense of purpose to David's life. Her laughter filled the once quiet halls of his mansion, and her curiosity reminded him of the simple joys he had long forgotten. Years later, Emma graduated at the top of her class and fulfilled her dream of becoming a doctor. On her graduation day, she stood beside David, holding his hand as tears of pride filled his eyes. "You've given me more than I ever could have imagined," she told him. "Not just a home, but a family and a future." David smiled, his heart full, his voice trembling with emotion. "And you've given me something I never thought I'd have a reason to believe in: love and second chances." He paused, looking at Emma, now a confident young woman standing before him in her graduation gown. In that moment, he felt the weight of every decision, every regret, and every chance he had taken to make things right. "You've taught me more than I could ever teach you," he continued. "You've shown me what it means to fight for something, to believe in hope even when it feels impossible. Watching you grow, seeing the person you've become, it's the greatest gift I've ever received." Emma's eyes filled with tears, and she squeezed his hand. "And you've given me everything I ever dreamed of: a family, a future, and someone who never gave up on me." The room buzzed with applause and celebration around them. But for David, the world felt quiet and still, focused entirely on this moment. He thought back to the first time he saw her at the orphanage, a girl filled with hope despite the odds. Now, she stood tall, ready to embrace the future with the same unwavering determination. As they embraced, David felt a deep sense of fulfillment, a knowledge that their journey, though unexpected, was exactly what had been missing from his life. He didn't just find his daughter, he found a purpose he never knew he needed. Their story became an inspiration to many, a testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and the unbreakable bond between a father and daughter who found each other against all odds. Thank you for watching this heartfelt story of love, redemption, and second chances. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Stay hopeful, stay kind, and see you next time.